G'day, Ben from Melbourne here, and that's right, it's my 2022 Chrimbo vinyl wrap up. Thanks for noticing something different. That's right, I'm wearing a nice Christmassy coloured shirt. Anyway, call it what you will, Christmas, Chrimbo, a bloody day off. It's time to celebrate. Have a little bit of a look back, see what worked, see what didn't. And a few thank yous as well, actually. I started doing VC videos back in January, and straight away have received a lot of support and made some cool connections and met some cool people, and yeah, it's been a fun ride. Anyway, I wanted to talk about next year as well, and find out the sort of stuff you people have enjoyed that I've done, things you'd like me to continue, ideas that maybe I should have a crack at. Keeping in mind, I like to try and keep things within the Australian music scene. I do the best I can with the records I got. I don't by any means have everything. Like things like you want to see more features on artists or bands or record labels. I definitely will do a Giz follow-up at some stage. I know I promised a little while ago, but time and all that stuff. And I try and get into some comps and threads whenever I can. Follow the lead of the High Priest, who he's the number one man if you want to know what's going on in Thread City or Comp City. But and then there's things where I wonder, like, should I do those things again, because they seem to be not as popular. Like, I for one love 7 inches, but every time I feature 7 inches it doesn't seem to go down too good, except for a select few, and you know who you are, and thank you. Other one is I did books one time. I noticed there was a thread not long ago which I didn't enter because I did one on books months ago. People didn't seem to dig the books. They just want to see big square things containing big round things. And yeah, as much as I hate to say it, the 2 videos I did, which were about Australian women musicians, they also got low views as well. I'm still finding my way. I haven't been doing this for that long compared to a lot of people and trying to work things out, but yeah, that's the sort of things I like. Oh, and another one which I did some music films and documentaries, and yeah, that went down like a lead turd, but whatever. Anyway, leave in the comments any thoughts, whatever. I keep abuse to a minimum. I have a thin skin, of course. All right. What I would like to do is do a few thank yous now of people who have supported my channel, comment constantly, or have given me shout outs, just cool dudes in general. But instead of just saying their channels and leaving links below, I'm going to try and match a record with that person, but an Australian record, of course. So first person I would like to say thank you, who has been a long time supporter and commenter, and I'd like to think of him as one of my friends now, because we often communicate via email and we catch up over Zoom every now and then, and he's just one of the best guys going out there in the VC and just in general. Huge fan of music. I've learnt so much. It's of course the doyen of the 7 inch, Garner Harris, and his great channel Born Out of Time. You're the man. So what I'm going to do, you are the 7 inch king, so you've probably already got this, but I'm going to show one of my favorite 60s 7 inches of the Purple Hearts. Great track, Early in the Morning, back with the absolute barn burner just a little bit on the Sunshine label, so it's a 60s one, so that's what Ghana's all about. He tries to track down 60s garage punk, freak beat. He's even great collection of rockabilly as well. Anything that's good, check him out. And also, I'd just like to show this because I forgot all about this in my best 2010s, or I can't remember. One of them ones. I should have shown the Lords of Gravity, which Ghana remind me of. Great Australian garage rock band featuring the mixture of Off the Hip on the drums. A great record store down here, Off the Hip. Next up, I would like to say a thank you to Chris from Total Insignificance. He's another guy who I met through Ghana, and catch up with him. The three of us have a chat every now and then, which is great fun. Oh, I also should have mentioned Ghana has also twice sent me great packages, which he didn't have to do, of great 60s 7-inches, and they have been fantastic. The only reason I haven't featured them is because it's not Australian stuff, but it's stuff that I've been wanting to have for ages, which I just don't see over here, like cool 60s garage stuff, you know, the Five Americans and the Pretty Things and stuff like that. Really, really cool. Sorry to interrupt your thanks, Chris, but I had to mention that too. Anyway, Chris from his amazing channel, Total Insignificance, him and Ghana, between the two of them, I think have got garage, rock and punk covered, especially Texas punk with Chris. And also, just when I thought I had his number, he's also a huge fan of experimental and drone and like all this amazing stuff. And I know this was an easy one to pick because I know he's a huge fan of The Scientist. So I'm going to pick my All-Go-Go copy of The Scientist. This heart doesn't run on blood. This heart doesn't run on love, which Chris, big fan of everything Kim Salmon does. And I think one of his early videos, he even posted some footage of a show. That looks better. Of the great Kim Salmon when The Scientists reformed and played some shows over there. Next, I'd like to say thank you to Steve Carlson, who that's his pseudonym. He's really known as Mike. And so am I, if you know what I mean. And if you don't, you're not a Mike. That's all I'm going to say on that subject. Now, I've learned a lot from watching Steve's channel. The man has every African funk album ever with the original Dirt on it. And he also has a great collection of original 70s punk records, which he's featured many of. And broad taste. You'll see anything from classical music, through to punk and funk and psychedelic, you name it. But I thought I would go down there because he has a lot of the African funk things. No, it's not an African band, it's an Australian band called Banana Gun. And this is their album, The True Story of Banana Gun. And these guys are definitely listening to some of that 70s African funk. It's got that feel, and they actually do it really, really well. This is on the great Anti-Fade label. In particular, the song People Talk Too Much. Check that one out if you want to feel those African rhythms. Next, probably the funniest man on the VC as far as I'm concerned, and that's the great Harris Pilton. And he is a huge lover of the 12-inch. So I'm hoping, especially 80s 12 inches. So this is a Melbourne band called New War with their 12-inch Ghost Walking. And it's also, like all good 12 inches, has remixes by Gossip and Hate Rock of the same song. I would kind of guess this would be in his wheelhouse, because New War got that very danceable post-punk new wave heavy bass and drums, synths and kind of stark fantastic stuff, and yeah, good man, Harris. Next, one of the earliest dudes to reach out to me, the great Ian Miller from Broke with Audiophile Taste, possibly the first philosopher of the VC. He thinks a lot. He's also like The Damned, who were the first punk band to release a single, the first one to break up and the first one to get back together again, in the way that Ian has threatened to leave the VC many times and keeps coming back. But I love it, because it's always interesting what he talks about. Anyway, I'm going to suggest to him the latest King Gizzard and the Lizard record, Ice Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava. Now, if you're down with the can, as in 70s German can, you are gonna dig this record. I think the Giz are having a purple patch with this most recent batch of records from October. And not that I was ever doubting their greatness, but I think they were kind of getting a bit caught up in genre exercises, but I think they're back big time, and this is probably, you know, one of my favourite things they've done since Nonagon Infinity. So for me, that's saying something. So this is a great record. Ian, great guy, check him out. He's interviewed people who master records, even interviewed me and Sean Spins, who, why would you interview me? Well, not interview, we just talked a lot of shit and had fun. Caught up with him personally through email as well, and Zoom and that, like with Garner. A lovely guy, heart's in the right spot, and he always speaks his mind, which I love as well. All right, I better keep moving along, or this is going to really blow out. Speaking of the great Sean Spins, whew, what a channel. The work that goes into his videos with the footage that he puts together. He's got a bastard of a producer, I must say, though, who really pushes him into uncomfortable territory sometimes, but he keeps on keeping on, Sean. And I thought I'd pick this one because Sean has more Jag guitars than should be legally allowed. And so I picked the Australian band Sandpit. This is actually a compilation of their first two EPs, a great 90s band, that angular, quirky indie rock which was coming out of Melbourne at the time. And of course, Jags are all over this record. Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Sean. Another one of the good guys in the VC. Now, what can I say about the recently christened High Priest of the VC, the High Priest of competitions and tags? That's right, Brian Embryotic Robot, all the way from Canada. So, the man has a touch of the prog in his heart, so I thought I would go with Orb's last record, because they are channeling a little bit of King Crimson in this. I think I've recommended this one to Brian, or should I say HP, in the past. And this is, yeah, great record. Fortunately, I don't think they're together anymore. They released 3 really good records, and Zach, the main dude, he's gone on and done a number of things. He's also in the great Frowning Clouds and Hierophants and Traffic Island, which is kind of his solo project. I'll put that back later. I'm making a video. So HP, thanks for the support. Thanks for the shout outs and for the great banter in the comments. Next up, the wild card, Cosmic Brian on Cosmic Vinyl. Oh yeah, the man of many hats, sunglasses, and wild outfits, and some cool moves. He's a big lover of the 60s and early 70s, hard rock, psychedelic, and a bit of bubblegum. So he's got so many followers, and he's shouted me out several times, which has been great. And he always comes back with comments and also has commented on my stuff. And like, you know, I'm amazed that a guy who like has that many followers has the time to leave so many comments with a bit of back and forth. And like, I really appreciate it. He's got this wild image, but yeah, when you speak to him outside of that, he seems like he's like one of the most thoughtful, laid back, cool dudes. And anyway, I'm going to pick the molten lava of Buffalo's volcanic rock. And I've shown this one before. And I've only just noticed something, which I didn't notice before, because we're too busy focused on the person with no genitals at the top of the volcano. Have a look down the bottom. If that's not an ass with lava coming out of it, I don't know what is. I love this even more, and I hope that Cosmic does too. Keep keeping it on, brother. Now, next up, JT's record room. JT, he's such a lovely guy, and he's the man who is the thrift finder, finds amazing stuff in amazing condition. God damn, these lights are getting hot. Just gonna put my collar in between my skin and the lights. Oh, that's so much better. Anyway, JT has always commented on my videos. We often have long conversations in the comments, which is great. And I found out, because I would be getting comments from him in the middle of the day over here. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm thinking of the time difference. But yeah, apparently he was saying that he gets up at all hours and checks videos and sends comments out and stuff. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, yeah, I try and watch as many as I can and comment on as many as I can. But yeah, there's that whole lifetime thing going on as well. But yeah, thanks, JT. You're the man. And always super positive, which we love that in the VC. And he's also a lover of country rock. So I'm going to go with the Australian band, the Lost Ragas, with their Transatlantic Highway. Now, this has got a nice tinge of the more laid-back country rock with the kind of in that Graham Parsons way where it was kind of like a psychedelic cowboy style of the country rock. It is a great record. I think they've only released the 2. I love that picture there. But yeah, this, I think JT would love this record. It's just got that great country psychedelic twang. Next up, everybody behaving, keeping your head in. I mean, pulling your head in. Nothing illegal going on over there. That's right. So we have to talk about Mike PC31, the vinyl policeman. He is a lover of the Kinks, the Sabs, the Floyd. So he ticked all the boxes straight away for me. And he plays in a Kinks tribute band. How cool is that? Lovely guy. Makes great, interesting, in-depth videos. Very thoughtful. Funny in the comments. He's got in on the mic banter with me and Steve, and he always signs off as the real Mike, which we love. Interesting. Loves his box sets too, which I find really interesting, and he doesn't do it in like the normal boring unboxing way. Like, he's very passionate and very good, and he's a big fan of Warren Ellis, but he's kind of new, I guess, or maybe doesn't own any of the Dirty Three, Warren Ellis's fantastic instrumental band from the 90s, which is, I think, all but done because he's Nick Cave's full-time right-hand man now. And I think, if I'm not wrong, Mike came to Warren Ellis's music through Nick Cave and the soundtracks that they collaborated on. On your PC31. Nothing to see here. Move along. All right. Next. One of my own from here in Melbourne. John with his great channel Down Under Tunage, and you cannot deny the great commentary on the side off camera from his wife, which accompanies his videos. It's always entertaining. His videos are a bit more infrequent, but when he does them, they're really worth a look. He enters a few comps as well, but also does a few vinyl finds. Got very eclectic taste. Has a thing for great kind of not, I want to say goth, but not quite goth, but things like, Cocteau Twins and stuff like that, with that sort of eerie and mysterious kind of 80s sound with the female vocals on the top. He's got a lot of great records like that. But he also loves the church. And I've shown one of the other church albums, or several of them, before, but I don't think I've shown Seance. And I thought this, because it's kind of got that goth look cover on there, and I love that shirt as well, even though I don't know what color it is. I'm a big fan of a nice shirt. So on you, John. Right, next I'd like to mention Rob Walker from Let the Music Play. He was actually my very first subscriber and wrote a really nice comment. It's something along the lines of, "It's my pleasure to be your first subscriber and welcome to the vinyl community." And I really appreciated that. And he mentioned me on his channel, and I instantly jumped up, 20 or 30 subscribers from nothing within a week or two. And that was fantastic of him to do that. Again, I try and watch, he pumps out a lot of videos as well, and so I try and get to him when I can and comment when I can. But thank you for getting the ball rolling. I really appreciate it, Rob. And he's a huge fan of Paul Weller and the Jam. Do you know what to pick? So I decided to pick someone called Paul Kelly. I know, very tenuous. Let's just say Paul and Paul. Great singer-songwriter though. Thanks, Rob. And about 5 seconds after Rob subscribed, because of Rob's recommendation, was the wonderful Richard McCook. He's got a fantastic channel. He does lots of great rankings and features on artists, and what he doesn't have from the 80s, I'm not sure even exists. Amazing collection of not just the main records, but singles and 12 inches and what have you. He has said that it is his mission to turn me into an ABBA fan. I'm sorry, but that's just never going to happen. But this might make you happy. Had a bit of a dig around in the cupboard, and I found a bit of Muriel's Wedding on DVD. Quite a bit of ABBA action in this great Australian film. And that's about as much ABBA as I need in my life, Richard, but thank you for your support. I'd also just quickly like to mention a few people who always say kind things in the comments, who've been really supportive from the start, and that's Mike, whose channel MGK Boston. He's a real champ, always writes quite thoughtfully, and also really seems to be keen on checking out a lot of Australian stuff that he hadn't heard before. Another one in a similar vein with that enthusiasm is Matt, who also, his channel known as MC Pop. B-Sides, who I've just recently started watching, probably in the last couple of months. I don't always get to leave a comment, but I watch quite a few videos. They're great fun. And she seems really lovely too. The Metal Man Guz69, he's a champ as well, check him out. And lastly, David Friedman, who always is good for a comment as well. So now we're up to the 25th minute. I think I'm gonna quickly wrap up with some of my favourite Christmas things to play around this time of year. Not all Australian, of course, so you can't in Australia have Christmas without, there's that guy again, Paul Kelly, with his song How to Make Gravy, with the lovely sentiment of Christmas from the view of someone in prison over Christmas. It's the way I roll. And of course, another favourite, L.U.V, with their Christmas EP. Sadly, Mimi Parker passed away not long ago. One of my all-time favourite bands from back in the early 90s. So minimal, so beautiful, amazing harmonies. If you're not aware of L.U.V, you can buy anything. They're an incredible band. So sad to see her pass away. And then if you want to scare the kids, put a bit of Bob Dylan's Christmas in the Heart. What kid wouldn't be scared of? Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus. I like it. And then if you want to put a glide in your stride and a dip in your hip, Christmas in Soulsville. That's right. I think this is the Stax comp. This is great too. And another one, which is Verve remixed Christmas. This is a cool one too. So it's got like well-known stuff that you normally hate. Christmas songs. I mean, I don't hate Louis Armstrong, but the songs have been done and done and done, and a lot of other great jazz people, but it's all like remixed and funkified and really groovy Christmas mix. And then lastly, just a couple of my very own homemade Christmas mixes with, I'm not going to read them all, but a few classics on here, like Assassination on Christmas Eve by the wonderful Archers of Loaf, Christmas at the Zoo, Flaming Lips, The Animals Like Christmas too. What else we got here? Oh, yes. Christmas Baby Please Come Home by the mighty New Bomb Turks, and My Last Christmas by the Dirt Bombs. Garner and Chris will love those ones. No Christmas for John Keys by The Fall. And what's on the other mix? Blues for Christmas, John Lee Hooker. Jesus by Velvet Underground. You gotta have that. Jesus Built My Hot Rod, Ministry, killer song. Bit of Australian stuff, just a song called Jesus by Spiderbait. Jesus Christ by Big Star. Feeling a Jesus theme going on here. Well, he was born on Christmas Day apparently, so alright, get off my case. Dragster for Christmas by the Fauves. If you don't know what a dragster is, look it up. It's a bike with like 3 gears. Awesome. Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight. And that's the Joey Ramone song, that's right. And what else is on here? Oh, Swerve Driver, The Other Jesus. Whoa, I wonder what sort of Christmas that's like. Anyway, Merry Chrimbo, enjoy your break, have fun, don't fight too much with your auntie, and I'll see you sometime in the new year. Peace out, brothers and sisters.